All right. Hi, Advanced Art. I wanted to go over your objects in perspective assignment because it's quite complicated. I've taken the liberty to pre-draw all of the boxes because you will need to have a lot of boxes for this assignment. In fact, you needed 12 total cubes just for the first part. Um, three translucent 1 point, three solid 1 point for six total 1 point. I've got those here. One, two, three solids. One, two, three translucents. They're all 1 point perspective. Two above, two at, and two below is what you're going for with those. Let me slide that up so you can see a little better. On the other half of the paper, I've got 2 point perspective boxes. And with the 2 point perspective boxes, again, I'm dividing it into three translucent, three solid, two above, two at, and two below. Once you have your 12 cubes set up, go ahead and unpause this video so that you can move on to the next step. Speaking of the next step, the first exercise is about finding the center for parts of our cubes because that's going to help us eventually draw the forms on them. And so to begin with, we are going to look for a 1 point and a 2 point solid cube. Um, I'm gonna choose the two down below here. Let's do that. So in order to find the center for our planes, we are going to use an X. And so pick one of the planes, one of the sides on any of these two cubes, and make sure it's a solid cube. And take your straight edge and connect the two corners on that plane. Then rotate and do the same for the opposite corners so that you have an X. This is the center of that plane. Now that's very easy to understand when it's a one perspective box and we are playing with the front plane of that box. However, it becomes more important when we're working with those angled sides or those angled planes. Same process applies. I want you to pick a separate plane, connect the corners at a diagonal, and then do the same with the opposite corners. And where the X crosses, that is the center on the top plane. Continue with the third side of this solid box. And we have the center of that plane. I've got my 1 point perspective solid box centered up. I want to do the same thing with my 2 point perspective box. And frankly, it doesn't matter that it's two perspective, whether it's 1 point or 2 point, same process. You're going to draw an X connecting those corners. And this might feel rather repetitive, but the goal with repetition, especially with perspective, is going to be to familiarize yourself with slight changes and shifts as these boxes move around the vanishing point. And um, just getting familiar with the process. All right. So I've got the center points on the three planes for my 1 point perspective box and a 2 point perspective box. Second, on our finding our centers list, we are going to find the center of our edges So the plane is the side itself. The edges go around the circumference of a plane. They're where the plane switches from one to another. And so for this one, same situation, find two boxes to work with that are solid. I'm going to choose the boxes above the vanishing or the horizon line. And for this one, um, let's start with the 1 point perspective box. First, it's a bit easier this way. And so you are going to want to, this might be where a ruler is really helpful. Measure out what you have and then find the center of that. So split it in two. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 1, 1.5, and 1. And then up here, 1. All right. So that's my halfway marker on the top and bottom edge for my 1 point perspective box. Now for the side, got 1, 2, 3-ish. So that'll be like 1.5. Okay. So front plane, fairly easy. Just divide the two sides. Now what about these ones over here? So we are going to use the markers we already have to help us find the others. And then the vanishing point. So this is the vanishing point for this box. And so I am going to very carefully line this up. So I'm lining up this center edge with the vanishing point. And if I go back to the far side, back here, that mark is going to be the center point.